All right. So now all these characters you've met are this beautiful circle of friends, which is Elphaba, Nessa Rose, Nanny, Averic, Bach, sometimes Tibbet, Crope, Fanny, and Shinshin. Shinshin. That's so hard to say. Madame Morble has a letter from Frex to his daughters. In the package is a pair of shoes for Nessa Rose, and they are silver. They're covered in silver glass beads. Frex said he made them himself and learned how to make the beads from turtle heart. The surface is iridescent and silver in the firelight. Elphaba's very jealous, but she loves her sister and puts the shoes on for her and is very kind. Fiyero later that night says he was married at age 7, but he's only seen her once. Nessa Rose talks about how Frex calls her his little pet, but that he really loves to hear Elphaba sing. They all convince her to sing, and everyone goes silent to listen to her. All right, so now this next part, Madame Morble sends the little spy, Grammatic, to bring Glinda to the infirmary because Amma Clutch is dying. Glinda goes to the bedside and asks for privacy, but I'm sure the spy's still there. Nanny praises Madame Morble's kindness. Amma Clutch is dying, and Glinda does a spell trying to bring her back to herself because she feels like it's all her fault because she made up that malady at the beginning of the story. So the guilt's just killing her. So she does come back to herself for just a minute before she dies, and then confirms Elphaba's suspicion that Dr. Dillamond was killed by, who do you think? Who do you think? Grammatic. Okay, I'm back. It's hard to find time to read and record. So, we are on book 3, section 1. And Fiyero is visiting Emerald City. So remember we ended with Elphaba putting Glinda on a carriage, and now time has passed. Several years. Fiyero's in the Emerald City, and he's praying before a portrait of Saint Glinda, and he sees Elphaba. And he's like, Elphaba, oh my God, it's you. But she just keeps saying, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. Go away. He follows her, like stalks her around town, and she finally is like, okay, fine, come to my room where I live, which sounds like it's kind of like in the attic of something, like she's just kind of hiding there. She also has a cat named Malky, M-A-L-K-Y. And he tells her about what's been going on since school. He had his wife, they got married when they were like 7 or something. But now they have several children, and they have a home in Kiamoko. She asks why he's in the city. And he said he heard the wizard has become a recluse, but he doesn't tell her why he's there. She gives him just a little bit about her life. She's definitely being secretive. Said she was just done with shiz after Dr. Dillamond's murder, and now she is underground. She says, we can't meet again, it's just too dangerous. So it's a lot of making him think that she's doing something secret or something she shouldn't be doing. They do meet again, of course, because he's a stalker. They start meeting regularly and have an affair. And he realizes he's falling in love with her. He tells his wife, I need to stay in the Emerald City a little longer. He tells her that Quadling Country, there's been a lot more violence there since she left. And then she tells him about her time with her family there when she was younger, so you get to learn a little more about that. And she assumes her sister, Nessa Rose, is going to be the next eminent throp in Munchkinland after their great-grandfather dies. And she's going to rule over the East. Now, time's passing, they're still having an affair, we're in winter, and Elphaba starts kind of pushing Fiyero away and hinting that something big is coming, and she doesn't want him to be hurt, or doesn't want him to be collateral damage when it happens. They do make up, though, because they're in love, and And a few days later, he's visiting a coffee shop because she's like, hey, don't come see me for a while because I got stuff to do. He's at a coffee shop and he's looking into the yard of a school. It looks like a school, but it turns out it's a prison. And there's some quadlings and gillicanese and a family of capital bears being held. And they're hanging out. The bear cub is playing with a ball, and, you know, the parents are sitting around. And then a Gale Force officer, which is like the bad guy, the bad soldier guys that enforce the law, Gale Force, comes out to give them an order, and that makes the bear cub cry. And they don't comply with what he wanted, and so he beats the bear cub and kills him. And Firo's like, why aren't they fighting back? Like, there's several of them and just one of the guy. But they don't. They don't fight back. Later that week, he runs into Glinda, who he hasn't seen since school, and Crope, which was one of their friends. He joins them for tea. Glinda keeps teasing him, saying he's having an affair, and that's why he hasn't gone home, but he ignores her. She does tell him Nessarose is actually in town right then with the imminent Throp, and she married an older man, not Nessarose. Glinda married an older man named Sir Chuffrey. Crope says, I think I've seen Elphaba around, but I'm not really sure, but there's not a lot of green people here. And when they part ways, Glinda hopes they can meet again. Firo never tells Elphaba who he ran into in the cafe or that her family is in town. Okay, so now